Welcome to the Dice Gods. My name is Hydra, and today we're going to have a bit of a story time. This video has been on my mind for a while, and in many ways it ties back to one of the reasons that I founded this channel. So, if you are listening to this as you're getting some painting done, that's probably the best way to do it, because otherwise you're stuck with my face, and it's a bit warm, so I'm a bit pink. But here we are. We're all going to get through it. It's going to be great. Today we're going to talk about starting a community. Starting a wargaming community specifically, but why? At the moment, obviously, you may have seen around the place that Warcrow, the new fantasy wargame from Corvus Belli, is coming out. This is its first edition. There is no community for Warcrow. If you are looking to play, no one does. And that's putting quite a few people in a position where they are looking to get a demo or looking to start the game, but there's no one out there that's playing. So they're kind of, well, do I even start this? No one's playing. It's a chicken and egg situation. If no one starts, then no one plays, because they're waiting for everyone else to start, so nothing ever happens. That puts you in a situation where you can either wait for somebody else to do it or start a community yourself. There are other reasons to start a community. In the past, I've actually run 4 different. I'm on my 4th community that I've run. Some I stepped down because I changed the games that I was playing, so I handed those off to other people. Or I moved country. It would have been a little bit of a challenge to travel every week from the Netherlands to the UK to keep my old community up. But, you know, sorry guys, here we are now. So yeah, I've done this 4 times. I've learned a bit. Hopefully I'm going to give you some insight. Hopefully I'm going to give you some ideas of how to do it, because it can be pretty daunting when you're sat there and you're thinking, I want to start something. Good. Where do you go next? The first thing that I'll say about starting a community is that it can be really hard work. It can really suck sometimes. Be aware of that one. We're going to talk about that as we go on. But when it works, it's awesome, and it's so rewarding, and it's so fun, and it's so lovely to be at the beating heart of a community of gamers who you were instrumental in bringing them together. You were instrumental in making these people meet, get their hobby on, and have fun. And that's just a great feeling. It's lovely. It's great to see. It's great to experience. It's great to be part of. So if you are currently in the situation, especially with Warcrow, and you're thinking, I want to play this game, but no one does, maybe it's time for you to step up. Maybe it's time for you to make your community, to hew it from the ground and bring it into the image that you want. The first thing to do if you want to start a community is to have a look around in your local area and have a good dig around. Talk to other gamers if you know them. Find other gamers if you don't, and see if anyone else is already doing it. It sounds daft, but it can be sometimes a case of there's a huge scene 2 roads down and 3 to the left. You never asked, you never looked, so you didn't know. They're not necessarily based around wargaming stores. Sometimes they're based in people's homes. Sometimes they're based in sports halls or village halls or schools. There can be a whole world of different places where a wargaming community can exist. You've just got to dig for it. You've got to flip the stone over. So, as we're going to talk about a lot here, going to social media is a good way forward. Asking people on Reddit, asking people on Facebook, Twitter, putting the shout out, seeing whether anything comes back, see what else is out there. Because if there's already a community, you can just join along and enjoy the fun, and that's fantastic. But if there isn't, or actually if there isn't the type of community that you want to run, we'll talk about that in a second, then it's best to check. It's best to do the good thing, because the worst thing you want to do is start building a community and discover that what you've done is you've shattered the local community in half. And whoever's running the old community, or the existing community, is not going to be very, very fond of you, because you've apparently come along and made a mess. It's better to ask and just to be sure to start off with. Avoid a lot of work if you don't need to. Another great way to do that is if you have a specific system, like with Warcrow. I know a lot of other systems like War Machine and Drop Zone Commander, pretty much any system worth their salt that isn't GW will have a local representative, some volunteers who play the game and run the game in the local area to give demos and stuff like that. It's good to have a chat with them. With Infinity, for example, Warcores like myself, you can find our details on the Corvus Belli website, the people who make Warcrow and Infinity. Get in contact, ask us what we're up to, and be kind of like, you know what, I am 50 miles from your place. You know, is there anyone that you know of around here that plays? Yes, no. Can they support? Can they help? If there isn't anyone in your local area that is running the game, maybe the company themselves, like Corvus Belli, will say, well, do you want to? Is that something you'd like to do? And then they can support you helping to set your community up, which is just amazing. There is nothing cooler than having the manufacturer turn around and say, we're going to help you to make this happen. It's a great feeling. So, plus it often comes with some perks, which is never a bad thing. Doing what you're planning to do, but getting support from a manufacturer and getting cheaper stuff or free stuff, why would you not want to? Excuse me. So, let's say you've discovered that there isn't anything in your local area. Maybe you've got the support from a manufacturer, maybe you haven't, you're going to do your own thing. One of the first things I'd actually recommend that you do is get your stuff together. And by that I mean have a demo set of this game. Ideally fully painted, if you can, if you have time. Doesn't have to be pro painted, this doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to have paint on it. That's the ideal situation. What you're looking to do is when somebody turns around and goes, yeah, I've not seen, let me show you. Come over here, meet the game. You can show people pictures and they can go, that's cool. If they've had it in their hand, they've thrown dice, they've had a good fun experience, they are more likely to join in. And if you make it really easy, if you're just like, you know what, turn up, come to my place, I'll set up on the dining room table. If you have a place, we'll come to that again in a minute. Come to my place, we'll throw some dice. I'll meet you at a local store. Speak to the store owner, make sure it's okay. Go down, throw some dice at that local store. It is a lot easier to kickstart a community if it's easy for people to get involved, if you make it easy. And this is where it starts being hard. Being a community organizer is about facilitating. Your role, especially for the first period, which can be a couple of years, is about making it happen. It's about nudging people, moving things forward, looking for new players, looking for opportunities, running events, not necessarily playing them, and that can be really tough. Again, we'll come back to that in a sec. On top of having your stuff painted, consider how you're going to demo. It sounds like a daft thing to say, but let's look at Infinity again for a second. If you've never played Infinity, Infinity is a deep system. It has a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of things involved, a lot of moving parts. A demo should be none of that. A demo should be, here's a flavour and here's some fun. That's what we're looking to achieve. So if you know Infinity, there's a whole raft of different skills you can use during a turn. I chop it back to about, move, dodge, shoot, close combat, and idle to 5 from probably about 30. People can keep 5 in their head. You can do all the fun stuff with those. Give them 5 or 6 miniatures. 7 is standard actually with my games, but you know, of course. And then you throw dice for maybe an hour. And at the end of it, they have hopefully had a good time. They've got some experiences and they've got a flavour of that system. And you can say, right, if you want to learn how this system works, come back. We'll play a game together. We'll play a full game together. It'll take a couple of hours, but we'll do it. And then you bring them in for the full rules and you bring them in for the full experience. That demo should be, whatever game it is, light. I've met demos who are kind of like, no, we'll have a full game. And what happens is you get this deluge of rules and terms and ideas and blah, 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 blah. You know, if I talk to somebody about Infinity and you're talking about the fact that you have the initial phase in your turn when you're counting orders, and then you've got your impetuous phase, and then you've got your order spending phase, but then within the orders you need to do this. And you can see the other person else on the table just glaze. They disconnect. And it's understandable they would. You just vomited information at them and gone, yeah? No, I've never played this game before. I don't know what you're talking about. That seems a lot. I'm good. So you need to make it accessible. You need to make it easy. If you can, and you do have another friend or two who plays the game, maybe say to them, could I run you through a demo? I know you know how to play. I'm not saying you're rubbish at it, but could you come along and critique and just confirm that you agree that what I'm doing is a flavour of this system? That is a good way to do things. Next thing you need to do is get a venue. There are predominantly 3 types of location that you can play in. The friendly local game store, a location, a venue, and your home. Pros and cons for all of them. Friendly local game stores are the obvious one, especially if they stock the system that you want to run. The challenge you're going to find is they're often limited for space, and they're often challenging for space. So unless your FLGS lets you book a table for demos, it can be a little bit of a crapshoot. So you're kind of like, should we meet up here and we'll have a demo? And then you turn up and there's no tables. That can be a challenge. So if you're going to work with an FLGS, just say to them, look, I want to get people into this game. I want to promote it. Can you help me do that by letting me book a table a few days in advance and selecting it, blocking it off for me? The great thing about that, of course, is that a lot of FLGSs, a lot of game stores have their own terrain. Awesome. It may not be suitable, it may not be perfect, but it can be enough to get you going, to get things moving. And also with FLGSs, if you show them there's a community growing there, they'll often then invest with you, get a table set up, all this kind of stuff. This is a good thing. The next thing is sorting out a venue. So a sports hall, a school, a village hall, equivalent thereof, social club, whatever. Where you can rent a room, you can get tables, and you can throw dice. There are 2 downsides to this. If you are a new community, 1, you have to pay for it all yourself and hope that people turn up. And 2, there is no terrain. This can be a challenge, especially with Infinity, where you're looking at several €100 to get a table of terrain. But yeah, that may be something that you need to do. I would probably avoid this option when you're starting out because it's the most risky and it's the easiest to go sideways on you. What I actually recommend is what I've done now twice out of the 4 that I've run. Start at home, find players, invite them over to yours for a game. I'm really fortunate with that in that I have an understanding partner in Lilith. My beautiful wife, she plays, so she gets it, she's fine with that. And 2, we have a large dining room table for this purpose where I can set up 2 full tables of Infinity. So we can actually get those demos going, we can get those games going, it helps. You may not be that lucky, but if you can have 1 table going, it's a great place to set up demos. You can get people excited, you can get people interested. You'll find that certain people within that community, as it starts to grow, they'll turn around and they've got their own I've got my own table for 40k. Okay, well, Infinity, for example, is 2/3 of that. Okay, well, I can put my table, and then they can start running games too. And it sort of spreads. You sort of get this catalyst effect, and you get a whole group of people that are then playing the game, have their own tables, have their own terrains. It takes a while, but it happens, believe me. And then you can start looking for a venue where you turn up once a week and everybody brings their tables and sets up and plays and everybody gets together and does it. Then you have a group of people that you can say, right, this venue is X, therefore it's Y per person. Okay, awesome. This is definitely one of the options. So for me, I've had success with FLGSs. I've had the game stores. That's been really great. Especially when your community gets to the point where you can say, right, I want Tuesday night for my guys. And they're like, you know what? There's 20 of you. Come on down. Everybody wins in that situation. But if you need to, then running your community from your home, if you're okay with that, you have the space, you have the opportunity, I'd recommend. And to be honest with you, it's really, really convenient because you get to the end of the day, you're quite tired, and then you go, I'll set up a table, somebody will turn up at my front door, and we'll play a game. Bonus. So this is really good. Your next job, if you've got a venue, if you've got some support, hopefully, and you've got your demo patter sorted, is finding people, is spreading the word. The first thing is we're back to the socials. We're back to putting the word out with Facebook, with Twitter, I'm not calling it X. I don't care what Elon says. It's Twitter. Fight me. With Twitter, with Reddit, telling people I'm ready to go, but also keeping an eye out for people on there saying, hey, I'm looking for a game. Those kind of channels are really, really useful. And if you partner with one of the manufacturers, they'll often push people in your direction as well. You get emails through saying, Dave would like to learn the game. Well, hello, Dave. Come on over. We'll throw some dice. So you have these opportunities. You've got to look for the opportunities, and you've got to make time to check for those opportunities. But it's worth it. It's incredibly rewarding, and you meet these new people, and they come in, and if they're the right type of people, they fit with your community. It's fab. You need to be really active in that. You need to be on the ball and doing that. You also need to network. So you need to speak to your other players. You say, is there anyone you think might also like to do this, or any other place that you think we could talk to get more players involved? It kind of comes to one of the fundamental things, one of the reasons that gaming communities often don't appear or don't grow is because there's two reasons. One, people are lazy. They want to throw dice and go home. They don't want to sort this stuff out. They don't. It's one of those things. And two, they're busy and they don't have time to do it. So you need to take that over, and you need to make time, and you need to facilitate this stuff. And if you facilitate it, it will happen, because if you make it easy for people to play and easy for them to form a community, they will. But there has to be somebody in the middle of it pushing to get that done. You have to keep nudging it. You have to keep in contact with players and how you doing? Do you want to come and get? I haven't seen you for a while. Should you? And connect people that live close together. Connect people who are around each other, or in similar spheres, or similar ages, or similar places in their life. Be conscious of who your gamers are and try and make connections between them. And you'll get this network building up around you of people who get on, have a similar view, play the same game, are enthusiastic, and they motivate themselves and they build their own momentum. When you are putting that time in, you also want to consider events, shows, expos, stuff like that. There are a lot of wargaming expos these days. Speak to your friendly local game store. If they're going, see if you can run a demo table there. If they're not, find out if anyone there would like you to run a demo table, or speak to the manufacturer of the game and say, hey, this event's coming up. So the start of September, we have Crisis coming up, which is in Belgium. I am going with the team from CCG Winkle, who sponsored the start of our Warcrow videos. I'm going with them with a table of Warcrow, a table of Infinity, and Rem Racers. I'm going to have 3 dems on the go. I've got to enlist a friend or 2, which I need to get on with, to run demos for the day. We're going to be there, smiling, happy, cheerful, and showing people the game. Inviting them in, showing them what it's about, and using what I talked about before, the cut down version of this system, to be like, here's 30 minutes because you're in the middle of an event and you want to go and see that store, but let me just borrow you over here for a short period of time to go, have you met Infinity? Have you met Warcrow? And run them through that experience. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. So look out for those and take those opportunities. You kind of have to make those opportunities to start off with, but as they grow, it starts coming to you, which is really, really good. And that's key. You need to turn up. You need to make yourself available. You need to put yourself on the line and push for this stuff. You'll find, and I have seen, that I had a community a while back. On a good week, we had 30 active players. On an average week, we had 16. And then I went away for 2 weeks. And the first week that I was away, 3 players turned up. Because I wasn't there, so no one's going to sort anything. As soon as I wasn't there to be mum and sort things out and shepherd people, it just sort of went, and as soon as I was back, it went, yay! And that's really tiring and really demanding, and it sucks. It really is, because you're like, guys, you just needed to turn up and... But that changes. To start with, you have to put the time in, you have to put your back into it, but over time that stops being the case. It will develop its own momentum. It'll move forward on its own. And then you get the great experience, which, yeah, the wonderful experience where you walk into a room of players and you know everyone and you introduce most of them to the system and they're all just having fun. And it's great. There's nothing like it. It's brilliant. It's like, this happened because I had an idea and I didn't give up. That's such a great feeling. It really is. I can't recommend that enough, but more on that in a minute. You've got to show up. You've got to put the time in. You've got to give the intros. You've got to accept the fact that you're going to meet people who are like, oh, it's rubbish, I don't like it. You're going to meet people who are like, well, it's not 40k. You're going to meet people who hate the miniatures, hate the material, hate your face, think it's expensive, think it's cheap, don't think it will last. They'll give you a speech about how the system is going to fail in 50. Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. Good night. Move on. Try not to get disheartened. Get on to the next person who is enthusiastic, who does want to do it. Not every system is for everybody. Not everyone plays the same way. Not everybody wants the same thing. That's fine. That's okay. One of the important decisions you need to make about your community, which kind of comes in as it starts to grow, is the fact you need to decide what it looks like. It sounds bizarre, but you need to decide whether you're going to have a competitive, semi-competitive, casual, mixed, newbie-friendly, non-newbie-friendly community. It's your call. You're creating this. You set the rules. You set the behaviour standards, and then you enforce it. And don't be scared to push people back if they're overstepping. In my current Infinity community, we don't smash noobs. I don't care. There is never a reason to smash a noob. Fight me. I know of other communities where the attitude is get good. Come, I'll show you the full rules. You'll learn now. You're going to lose your first 10 games. The loss rate with that, in my experience, especially with games like Infinity, is vertical. You get maybe 1 in 10 people that comes back. Quite a few of my players have had experiences like that and were giving the systems that I recommend their last chance by coming to me because they've been noob smashed, noob stomped too many times. It just wasn't fun. I don't allow that. Certain communities thrive on it. Horses for courses, but be clear and enforce those rules and those standards. If you want to be uber competitive, if that's the direction you're going, be clear with people about that. You know, we play tournaments. That's what we're aiming for. We are a team who goes forth. You can come and be casual, but you're going to find us playing hardcore. If you want to be fluffy bunnies, tell them that. We just want fun stuff. We want thematic stuff. We don't want the hardcore tournament. They don't care if it's tournament based, as long as it's fun. Somewhere in the middle. Whatever you want to do, have that idea in your head and be comfortable with it and own it and be clear with people. I try and do that within my own current community. We're in the middle. We got people who want to play tournaments, people who want to be casual, everything in between, and they play together and everyone understands how the other people are playing, and it's a nice, warm, cuddly environment. Sometimes there's hardcoreness and there's violence, and other times it's just, you brought what? That's bonkers. And that's great. That's what I want. That's how I want my community to run. But if you want yours only hardcore and only tournament, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be clear and tell people. Just let them know. So then you've got to do the keeping going, keeping new people coming in, keeping people engaged, keeping people moving forward. How do you do that? You set up a mechanism of communication. In the Netherlands, it's WhatsApp. Everyone talks on WhatsApp. So we have a WhatsApp group and we keep that going. I check in with players who haven't heard from in quite a while. I check in with them. How you doing? What's going on? From a you're a mate perspective, but also, where are you? What's going on? I've got people who need games over here. What are you doing? Try and keep that momentum. Try and keep people engaged and switched on, because life draws you away. And sometimes all it takes is somebody to say, hey, you haven't played in a while, for you to go, I haven't played in a while. Why haven't I played in a while? I'll come play. And that's when you need to create opportunities. You can run events, tournaments, leagues, all this kind of thing. This year we started with an escalation league to get the newbies up to speed and also to get the existing players to try something new. Put a hobby element into it so they can paint and progress through the league that way. We're just about to start one of those again in September. So that type of event, it pulls the community together. It keeps people engaged. It lets people who've never met each other meet, play, make friends, connect. You kind of, if you're going to run a community, a little bit like a dating guru. You let people meet each other, let people connect with each other. Play games together, have fun, and enjoy the game. They make connections. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes people don't get on. But a lot of the time, if you have built your community with the same set of expectations and with the right sort of people, you'll be fine. Running your own community sucks. Sometimes it does. When you go 9 months and the only games that you've played have been demo and intro games and development games with new players, getting them up to speed with the system, it's rough. I've had that. and then you come to a tournament and you've not played a competitive game in ages, and it's rough. But then, like I say, you walk into a room and there's all these people who didn't know each other a year ago. They're having a great time. They're having fun. You know, we have social events where we don't even bring a dice. We go to a pub, we have a meal once, twice a year. Those events, you see these people that never knew each other, they're now friends, they're having a good time and they're playing together, and it's because of the community you put together. When that happens, when you have these competitive events where everyone's organised and everybody's playing because of you, because you've organised this, it's a great feeling. And when it matures and you can stand back and really see that community stand on its own 2 feet, there's nothing finer. It's a fantastic experience. If you want to start your own community, do it. It will take energy. It will take a lot of hard work. It'll take planning and focus. But when it's done, there is nothing finer. If you'd like to start your own community, you'd like advice, ask us in the comments. See what we can do. We're always happy to support communities, no matter where they are in the world. Have you started a community? What's your experience? Have you tried it? Have you not? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to know more about setting up a Warcrow or an Infinity community, ask below. Ask your questions. Ask what you need to know. But for now, thank you for watching. Thank you to our channel members, our Patreons. You guys are legends and doing the Lord's own work. Thank you especially to the mighty Joe Rogers for his long-term support of the channel. And thank you guys for watching. If you would, please like, subscribe, share this far and wide. Send it to somebody that you think should start a community. And let us know how your community is going, how you started it, and what challenges you've faced. Put that in the comments below. But for now, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.